Hello everyone, NASCAR is going through so much drama right now. Underhounds 2311 and Front Row Motorsports dropped a bomb to shatter the whole sport. What's the deal with this? Well, it's all about a lawsuit, and NASA is the target. This isn't some random fight. This is a fight that could completely change the future of NASCAR. Buckle up, and let's go into this story that is just starting to heat up. For those of you who might not be following, 2311 Racing, co-owned by NBA legend Michael Jordan and NASCAR star Denny Hamlin, and Front Row Motorsports, FRM, have been locked in a fierce legal battle with NASCAR. Why? It's all about NASCAR's charter system and how 2311 Racing and FRM claim it's been hurting their teams. Both squads are accusing NASCAR of some serious anti-competitive practices. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't just a petty dispute, it's a full-blown lawsuit. It all started when 2311 and FRM tried to get a preliminary injunction, basically asking the court to allow them to operate as chartered teams in 2025 while they continue their case. But here's the twist. NASCAR shut them down. So what did the teams do? They didn't just back off. Instead, they filed an appeal in federal court, accusing NASCAR of obstruction in the case. These guys are not playing around. They're taking this fight to the next level. But here's where it gets interesting. Just recently, 2311 and FRM decided to back down from their appeal. You'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Not quite. It turns out they've dropped the appeal due to changing circumstances in the case. Something's changed in the legal situation, and now the teams are seeking new relief from the district court. The best part? They could still refile for that injunction if the circumstances change. So, yeah, the fight isn't over yet. This whole legal saga has been causing some serious waves in the NASCAR world, and it's not just the teams who are talking about it. Kevin Harvick, NASCAR veteran and former champ, called this lawsuit the biggest development in the sport this year. That's huge. Harvick went on record saying that this situation could completely alter the way NASCAR operates. And with all that's happened so far, he's not wrong. The drama commenced back in October when 2311 Racing and FRM raised a particular complaint against NASCAR. Their allegation? NASCAR's charter system is rigged and violates antitrust statutes. Those charters are real deals, and these construct the entire foundation around which teams build their membership into race listings. The trouble is that 2311 and FRM have some trouble agreeing with what the charter documents said. So while the rest went through the process, they decided to fight it through the courts. Now, here's the real kicker. They have courses on it, and much more on how 2311 and FRM are going to move forward into 2025. They have no charters, but still plan to race. That's right, they are competing as open teams next year. That means they free up their races. They will fight for every gate, and they aren't getting out of the contest despite all these uncertainties for them. What's even crazier is that this legal drama has gotten personal for the owners of 2311 Racing. Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin aren't just sitting on the sidelines while their teams battle it out. They're fully invested in this, not just for the future of their teams, but for the future of the entire sport. Hamlin has made it clear that he believes the current system isn't fair and that changes need to happen for the sport to grow. And with Jordan backing him up, it's clear they're not going to let this go without a fight. But here's a twist in the story. Even with all the legal headaches, 2311 Racing is pushing ahead with their plans for next season. They're not slowing down, they're expanding. The team is adding a third full-time car in 2025. Along with Bubba Wallace's number 23 and Tyler Reddick's number 45, they're bringing in Riley Herbst to drive the number 35 Toyota Camry. This move is huge, and it sends a message to NASCAR. 2311. Racing isn't going anywhere, even if they don't have a charter to rely on. Riley Herbst isn't just some rookie either. He's been making a name for himself in the Xfinity Series, and in 2024, he had his best season yet. He won 2 races, finished 8th in the championship standings, and even scored a big win in the season finale. Herbst has already shown that he can compete with the best, and now he's ready to step up to the Cup Series. This move also brings in Monster Energy as a sponsor, which has been backing 23XI's drivers, including Tyler Reddick. The team is fully invested in making a big splash next season, even with all the chaos surrounding the lawsuit. The very angle of the story that 23XI Racing is interested in is how they handled such a hurdle as not having a charter. See, getting a charter in NASCAR means everything, because it does qualify one for the race and brings a financial cushion for a team. But then, 23XI and FRM have been struggling with the insanity in the NASCAR charter, and now, not only did NASCAR refuse to give them a charter for 2025, but they continued pushing forward. They would not just relent and wait for NASCAR to change. Thus, they are working on things in their way and finding a way to make it. Speaking of NASCAR, the organization is currently in some serious waters. This is a serious lawsuit. No, this is beyond 23XI and FRM. It will be for the future of the sport as a whole. NASCAR is already under fire for the way it runs and opens itself up to a rethinking by the sport via the act of 23XI Racing and FRM going legal. This litigation has potentially enormous consequences for not just the teams involved, but for the whole of NASCAR. Kevin Harvey has also been weighing in on the situation. He pointed out how teams like Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports dominated the early part of the 2024 season, but by the end, they weren't as competitive. Harvick's take: it's not just about having fast cars, it's about how teams adapt and communicate. Hendrick's performance dropped off, and that's a problem for them going into the future. He also mentioned how it's hard to keep pushing when you're already at the top. This is something that could be a factor in how the entire NASCAR landscape changes over the next few years. When it comes to the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season, it's been a roller coaster ride. Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Team Penske were all at the top of their game. But in the end, it wasn't enough. Despite all the success earlier in the year, JGR had no drivers in the championship four, and Hendrick only had one, William Byron. Meanwhile, Joey Logano took home his second championship in the last 3 seasons, proving that consistency is key in NASCAR. And as we look ahead to 2025, things are only going to get more interesting. With teams like 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports pushing back against NASCAR's system, we could see a major shift in how the sport operates. These teams are not just fighting for themselves, they're fighting for the future of NASCAR. They want a fairer system, one where all teams have an equal shot at success. If they win this lawsuit, it could change NASCAR forever. In conclusion, 23XI Racing's bold move against NASCAR could completely change the game, potentially reshaping the sport in ways we've never imagined. This isn't just a battle for the very future of NASCAR. If 23XI and FRM come out on top, we could be looking at a brand new era for the sport. Be sure to stay tuned, because this fight is just getting started. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more updates, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Let's keep the conversation going.